Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We're going to be going over Matthew Stafford, and we're going to be looking at some film, Matthew Stafford film, and determining what he brings to the LA Rams offense. Obviously, he just got traded there, so we're going to look at his game. Before we get started, please drop a like and a sub on today's video. I'd really appreciate that. That would really help my channel grow. And with that said, let's dive right into the video, and I hope you enjoy. So before we get started in talking about Matthew Stafford and his film, we're going to look at his stats from last season. And in 2020, he had a good year. In 16 games, threw for 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. And if you look at his stats, I mean, he had a good season. The year before, he was on pace for a 5,000-yard, 38 touchdown, and 10 interception season. So it wasn't quite the same season as he had a year before. But even then, 16 games slate, threw for 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. A really good year. Obviously, the LA Rams traded for Matthew Stafford in exchange for Jared Goff, as well as 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick. If you want to check out my analysis of that trade, I made a video on that. You can check that out. But with that said, I mean, if you look at the difference in the stats between a guy like Goff and a guy like Stafford, they're not crazy different. The real reason for the trade was Sean McVay simply thinks that he can get further into the playoffs with a guy like Matthew Stafford over Jared Goff, and also the contract that Jared Goff has. Nonetheless, I'm still saying that Stafford is a better quarterback than Goff, but now let's dive into the film analysis to determine what he brings to this Rams offense. So when I think Matthew Stafford, I think one thing here. Obviously, this is him at the quarterback position right here, and the number one thing I think about him is gunslinger. Okay, when I think Matthew Stafford, I think gunslinger. So right here, he's just going to throw basically a touchdown pass, and it's pretty much just one of these curl routes. So pretty much his receiver is going to run this route, and he's going to just sink into that little defense here. He's going to find that soft spot on the defense, and he's simply just going to go there and just sit right, because as you can see, it's zone coverage, right? There's zone here, a zone here, this guy's on him, and then there's a guy covering that back end of the end zone, and it's not really a man coverage. As you can see, he's in between 2 zones. He's just sit here, and Stafford's not afraid to throw this ball. This is the thing with Matthew Stafford. He really likes, putting that ball in there, and this is a great throw. It's a low throw, yes, but it's away from the defender, so this defender can't come and get it. This defender can't really come and get it, and he just simply finds a soft spot in the defense, anticipates where this throw is going to, and simply just puts it in there, right? Simply fires it in the hole, and then that's a touchdown. That's what I love to see from Matthew Stafford, is his gunslinger approach. He's not afraid to throw the football into small places, tight places, to really power the ball into his receiver, and that's what he did with the Detroit Lions throughout his entire career there. That's really one of the main things that I really like to watch from a guy like Matthew Stafford. He's just able to really power that football into tight windows, tight areas, and that's really the number one thing that really jumps off the charts for me. And likewise, he's not afraid to throw balls up and away, pretty much. Okay, so in this situation, I mean, he trusts his receivers and his tight ends a lot. And something that I really like with the LA Rams is they have 2 pretty good, solid tight ends in Gerald Everett as well as Tyler Higbee. I don't know if Everett's I think Everett might be a free agent, but they still have Tyler Higbee. He's a really good tight end. And right here on this play, he's going to find TJ Hawkinson in pretty much the back of the end zone. Hawkinson's going to kind of run this route to the back of the end zone, and Stafford has that ability to just loop that ball over. And the thing I love about Stafford is I said during the open, he's not afraid to throw the ball into tight windows, tight throws. He's not afraid to go put that ball in there. And unlike a guy like Jared Goff, who also likes to throw that ball into smaller areas, Stafford has more success doing it, okay? So as you can see, right, as this route progresses, he's looking with his eyes, he's looking where the defense is, he sees that where this defense is, basically Hawkinson's on the back side of his defender, right? You can see that he's beaten his defender, and everyone is underneath, so no one can really get to Hawkinson, right? And as Hawkinson continues to run, Stafford's able to just loop this ball up and over the defense for a score. And although this is a little bit it's not really underthrown. This is a pretty good ball. It's a 50-50 ball, and he really trusts his receivers to go up and get it. The one thing that I am a little bit nervous about when it comes to the receivers that Stafford has in LA is that the receivers Stafford has in LA are much more guys that are good in open space. As you can see, this is a great throw and a great catch here by TJ Hawkinson, and it's all because Stafford's trusting his receiver or tight end to go up and catch the football. Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp are not really those guys. They are great yards after the catch guys. Think of them as like elite Danny Amendolas. Okay, that's a weird way to put it, but they're really good after the catch. We're in Detroit. Stafford had really good jump ball catchers. I mean, Kenny Golladay, one of the best in the NFL at that. Marvin Jones Jr., another really good jump ball receiver. Who, yes, he can run after the catch. All these receivers can run after the catch, and also T.J. Hawkinson, really good jump ball receiver, jump ball tight end, as you can see right there. He's got a little bit different kinds of guys that can go up and catch the football in LA, but nonetheless, he's not afraid to go up there and just go give it to a guy. That's what I love about Stafford. His willingness to throw the ball into tight scenarios, and at the end of the day, I like to see that from quarterbacks, but his success doing that is something that really sets him apart from other quarterbacks. His accuracy when it comes to throwing there. And I mean, he's not a super accurate quarterback. Last year, he had a 64.2% completion percentage, but nonetheless, when it comes to tight window throws, he's one of the better ones at it in the NFL because he really has that arm power and that arm talent to, fling that ball into a tight window. So really good job here by Stafford, and I'm going to really expect to see a lot of this from him in LA. Next thing I want to show you is his deep ball ability, and Stafford is one of the better deep ball throwers in the NFL. However, I don't really think that's the reason why the LA Rams decided to go out and get him. Jared Goff can throw the deep ball too. I think that they're pretty similar in their aspect to throw the deep ball down the field. I would probably say that Stafford is better at it than a guy like Jared Goff, but I mean, they're close. I don't think you're gaining a whole ton by getting Stafford over Goff for that deep throw. But when you're looking at that deep ball ability, Stafford definitely has that. Okay, so right here, it's pretty much, I mean, if you just look at the play right here, this receiver is pretty much going to just go right down to the end zone. He's just going to go a go route to the end zone. And as you can see, as I'll show this picture, number one thing I love from him is his great pocket awareness and pocket presence. He knows where the defense is coming from, and then he realizes he needs to step out and move, because as this defense comes, he can't go this way. He can't throw because he's on his the defender's on the backside, so he can really strip that if he wants to throw there. And more importantly, he doesn't really have anyone open. I guess he does have this guy open here, but nonetheless, he is looking downfield and he has his eyes set on this matchup here, one-on-one on the outside. Okay, and as he steps up in the pocket, this is what I love. I love his pocket presence, awareness to step up. Steps up, has a clean pocket to throw to, and then is able to launch that ball downfield. And as we continue to pan here, look at this throw. Look at this throw. So there's the safety here. There's another defender here, and this is the defender that's one-on-one with the wide receiver. And nonetheless, and with all that coverage, Stafford is still able to loop that ball up and out because he sees that there's open space over here at the far end of the screen, and he knows that this receiver, who's beaten his corner, is going to be able to run under this ball and just plop it down there for a touchdown. And this is just fantastic. I mean, the separation he has, it's about probably a yard of separation. There's two guys closing in, as long with the corner who's actually on the wide receiver. And this is just a great catch. Touchdown, I mean, this is what? Let's look at this. I mean, he's throwing this from the 49. So this is a 49-yard touchdown. He's throwing it at like the 55. So this is like 56 yards in the air. And this is an absolute dime over the defense. And he's not, as I said, that's the number one thing about his game. He's a gunslinger. He's not afraid to throw the ball into traffic because he can get the job done. And he can do it deep. He can do it underneath. This is what Matthew Stafford brings to the table, right? He's that veteran leadership that you're really looking for in a quarterback. And then he's got the ability to make big plays down the field because he's got good arm talent and he's got solid accuracy when it comes to throwing the ball downfield. But more importantly, the best thing that he does is he's not afraid to throw the ball into tight coverage, tight situations, because he gets results. And as I keep wanting to show you, he is that ability to take the top off a defense and really go for those deeper throws. And right here, Marvin Jones Jr. is pretty much going to run a corner route to the outside of the field, and he's going to try and just beat his man for a touchdown, right? And that's what's going to happen. And Matthew Stafford is really productive off play action. As you can see, this is a play action play here. A fake to Adrian Peterson. And the Rams are one of the best play-action teams in the NFL. Sean McVay is one of the few coaches in the NFL that really, really prioritize using the play-action. Now, I know every offensive coordinator and every coach in the NFL wants to run play-action, really wants to, but Sean McVay has it so ingrained in the offense where play action is the offense almost, right? That pretty much is what it is for the Rams. But what he realizes here is that there's going to be a safety over the top here, as you can see right here, this guy here. And Stafford looks out starting more or less to the middle of the field, right? He's looking over here-ish. And because he knows that he wants his guy over here, so he needs to make sure that the safety is going to go this way. So by looking this way, he's making the safety just, lean off a little bit, give a little bit of space, so he's able to throw in behind and throw in deep, right? So as we progress it here, now he turns back to the right, okay? Now we turn back to the right. And as you can see, right, because that safety was moved, this is the safety here. He was moved this way originally. He's a little bit behind the wide receiver. And Marvin Jones Jr. is not super fast when it comes to wide receivers in the NFL. He's not one of the faster receivers in the NFL, but he's able to get by him because Stafford's moved this guy over here, and now he's had to go back and try and chase Marvin Jones Jr. And then he's got the ability to just get that ball on a perfect dime, just a little loop-de-loop, a deep ball with touch. And the other one we saw, the other deep ball we saw against Chicago, that was more of a just pure power arm deep ball. However, this one has touch too, and that's something that's really good to see from quarterbacks because they're able to put that ball into empty space. And as you can see, this is all empty space over here, and Stafford simply throwing the guy open. He's throwing the ball into empty space, allowing for his receiver to run under it, and that's something that he's going to find a lot of success with a guy especially like Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods, throwing into empty space, allowing them to go out and get that football, and then letting them do the work after the catch. That's something that I'm really interested and excited to see from Matthew Stafford in LA. And even then, I mean, LA has a solid offensive line. Detroit, they've got some talent on the offensive line, but when he's got a clean pocket and an ability to see the field well, then he's going to get the results, and that's what I think he can do in LA with good offensive weapons there and a solid offensive line too. One of the okay offensive lines in the NFL, if not one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. Depends on Andrew Whitworth, depends how we see him play coming in the future. But Rob Havenstein had a great bounce back year this year. The interior offensive line is getting better. They're younger, but overall, I mean, Matthew Stafford, when you give him time and space and you give him especially zone defense, then he's going to burn you because he's so good and so powerful with his arm to really just throw guys open and really allow for guys to run under footballs and go make plays like this for a touchdown. He's got that elite, really, really good arm strength that can really push the ball downfield. And that's big for any offense. It's something that Jared Goff really didn't do enough of last season with the Rams, and that's something that the Rams really hope that they can get from Matthew Stafford. Now, I feel like I've pretty much shown you a lot of what Matthew Stafford's going to bring to the table in LA, but another thing I want to show you is his arm angles, and then we'll show about his mobility at the last film part of today's video. But in this situation, this is a two-point conversion attempt, and pretty much what he's going to do here is he's going to just kind of roll outside the pocket. Okay, that's what he's going to do. He's going to roll outside the pocket, right? It's a play action fake. Once again, like I said, Matthew Stafford's very successful off play action, and the Rams do that a lot. So, as I said, every offense does that a lot, but the Rams do that especially well and especially a lot. And as you can see, he feels the pressure. He's going to roll out a little bit. And as he rolls out, right, he's looking. Okay, let's just continue just going here for a second. Okay, so what he's doing is he's looking this way. He is looking that way. It looks like he's going to throw over here. And as you can see, if I just roll the clip for a second, there's two guys. There's two receivers over here, right? There's a receiver here and a receiver here. The ball ends up over here. So we'll just show you this for a second, right? But as you can see, then as he releases the ball, he turns it back inside. So really, when he's releasing this football here, he looks like he's going over here. He doesn't really look like he's looking straight on. I'll show you, it's probably a better angle right here. Yeah, right when he's throwing the ball, his helmet is looking this way. He's not even looking where he's going to throw it over here. So really, he's able to change that arm angle when he's able to, use his eyes to move defenders. And as you can see, once he throws his ball, this defender's frozen, which allows for this receiver to be open. And then he's got that arm talent and that arm accuracy, that ability to throw on the run. Not great. He's not great on the run, but he's able to do it. As you can see, he's throwing on the run here. Really accurate, really powerful, just that he's a wide open wide receiver, because what he's able to do is use his eyes to move this defender over here, get him flat-footed, and then just power the ball into this receiver here for the two-point conversion. And although they didn't win this game, this is a really good play to see, and this is something that I think Matthew Stafford's going to have a lot of success with. Guys like Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, who are able to get open and be good after the catch. And if Stafford's able to move defenders like this in LA, which he was able to do in Detroit, then I think he's going to have a lot of success. The next thing I want to show you, which isn't a huge part of his game, but I mean, he's not the least mobile quarterback in the NFL. I mean, he's not super mobile, but in this situation, this is one of his better mobility plays from last season, where he kind of just drops back. He feels the rush, feels the pressure, doesn't really have anywhere to go with the ball as the pressure's coming, as you can see there. And simply he understands that he needs to move, right? He understands there's nowhere to go with the football. He understands there's pressure coming, and then he's able to, step outside and move up. And then he's got that awareness. He's like, okay, wait, it's 1st and 10. Here's the first down. Let's go and get it. And he's able to go and get it. And then he simply is like, nope, I can't go anywhere else. There's defenders all around me. And let's slide. And that's a really smart decision. As you can see, he just slides right here. Really smart decision, right? One, he knows where the first down marker is. He goes to it. He understands where the pressure is coming from, where it's not. Able to get outside the pocket, make a move, get outside. He realizes he has it, and then picks up the first down, simply slides. That's great game management, great game situation, knowing what you can do, what you can't do, and yet he's able to, get outside the pocket, pick up a first down on a play that, kind of broke down, right? Pressure came and he was able to get out there. And that's something that Jared Goff could probably do better than Matthew Stafford. Definitely he can do better. He's younger, a little bit more agile, a little bit more athletic. But nonetheless, Stafford can still bring this to his game. He can still be, he has that elite mind when it comes to understanding presence and pocket pressure and when it comes to game situation. I don't know if he's elite in that regard. I don't think I'd put him up there with guys like Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, but he's definitely more experienced, and his experience is definitely going to help him in LA, where he's got a good head coach in Sean McVay, and if he's able to implement these kinds of game situations, and when he sees the pressure and is able to get outside the pocket, it's going to be less and less as his career progresses. Obviously he's 32 right now, and as he continues to get up there in age, we'll see less and less of this. But if he's able to add this to his game a little bit more, and be able to just get outside the pocket a little bit better, and when the pressure's coming, not take sacks, allow to pick up some extra yards, this could be a really big part of the Rams offense, especially if, Stafford's able to, go up and pick some extra yards for this Rams team. Really would help them out. And that's something that Goff did a little bit of, not a ton of, but I think Stafford could still bring, that ability to, get outside the pocket a little bit, maybe pick up 3 or 4 yards, just be smart with his body. He's going to be able to have to be smart with his body because he's getting older. And this is something that, once again, he understands where the pressure is coming from. He's smart. He gets outside. And this is exactly what you need to do, especially once you're here. You realize that there's nowhere to go here. You don't want to take a big hit. And he simply sides. Really good job here by Matthew Stafford. And with that said, that's pretty much going to end the film analysis part of the video today. I think Matthew Stafford, the biggest quality of him is his arm, right? He's able to, he's really not scared to throw that ball into tight windows, tight situations. He likes throwing his receivers open, allowing for his receivers to run under the ball. But more importantly, he utilizes his eyes and his shoulders and his ability, not look at a receiver and still throw that receiver open to move defenders and allow for space to create. And that is something that I really want him to implement and see a lot more of in LA. With guys like Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones Jr. in Detroit, he was able to really just throw the ball up there, right? Go up, allow them to go up and catch it, but Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods are not those kinds of receivers. Woods and Kupp excel at getting open on third down, second down, running those out routes, inside route, in-breaking routes, slants, stuff that, makes defenders miss, create separation, and then allows them to do that after the catch. But Stafford is able to, really anticipate throws, and he's really able to, power that ball into small situations where with the route running of guys like Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, that will really excel. And if you remember, Danny Amendola did a pretty good job with Matthew Stafford in Detroit. I thought he did a good job. He was able to go those slant routes, those corner routes, those ability to extend the edge of the field. But Stafford is so good inside the numbers, and guys like Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods are good at catching balls inside the numbers and then using their speed and athleticism and yards after the catch ability to get outside the numbers and extend plays. And I think the combination of Stafford as well as a guy like Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp is going to be very, very impressive to see. Also, something I'm going to predict is for Tyler Higbee to have a real bounce back season next year. I think that, Higbee's lack of success this year was just not because, the scheme, Goff didn't have his best season. Higbee didn't have a really good season. He had a really good season the year before, and I think bringing in a guy like Stafford, who's had success with tight ends in the past, obviously T.J. Hawkinson has really developed under Stafford. He's become one of the better tight ends in the NFL, one of the better young tight ends in the NFL under Stafford last season. And the reason for that was because Stafford trusts bigger targets. He likes to throw that ball up there, and Higbee excels at that. So once again, I don't love trading away Goff. I already said that in my Stafford Goff breakdown video, but I really think Stafford's leadership is going to be able to maybe get the Rams further in the playoffs. And at the end of the day, I think this is a smart move for the now. However, I don't like trading away 2 first-round picks for the future. Obviously, the Rams are one of those teams that really don't utilize their first-round picks, really trade them away to get quality, proven talent. And you know what? That works for them. They are a year-after-year playoff team under Sean McVay. And with Jared Goff and company, they were good enough to make the playoffs, but they weren't good enough to make it far in the playoffs. With Stafford, I think they're better, right? I think Stafford's a better quarterback than Goff, but it will be interesting to see next season the difference. So once again, I think Stafford is going to bring some things to LA. I think he's going to be, a little bit less scared to throw that football. He's going to be a gunslinger. That's his mentality when it comes to it. And he's going to really make guys like Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods excel, in the middle of the field where he's able to be really successful. He's a great anticipator of the football, really knows where the ball is going, understands what the defense is, likes to, throw the ball over the top of the defense, has that good arm strength. All these things make Stafford a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And for those reasons, I think that, he's going to be able to make that Rams offense just slightly a little bit better. And, when it comes to the NFL and you have a Super Bowl caliber team, which I think the Rams, they're on that verge. I don't think they're quite there yet. They're going to have to do some stuff in the offseason to really make sure that they're a bona fide, Super Bowl contender. But nonetheless, I think this Rams team has a legit chance at making the Super Bowl and going deep in the playoffs with Matthew Stafford, with his leadership, with his ability to connect with his teammates, and his ability to just be a really good football player. Now that they have a top 10 quarterback, I think Goff was probably a top 15 borderline quarterback, either above or below that. But once again, Stafford's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He's got a gunslinger mentality, and I think that's what the Rams offense really needs. It needs an injection of life, and I think Stafford is that guy. And with that said, that's pretty much going to end the video for today. Did you agree with my analysis? Why or why not? Leave your comments and thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Also, if you're new around here, please drop a like and a sub on today's video. I'd really appreciate that. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, see ya.